Let's be honest, fantasy anime has been falling a bit short lately. Don't get me wrong, we love a good isekai, but between the endless status screens, overpowered main characters, and identical medieval towns, the genre has been running amok with copy and paste stories lately. Aside from a handful of outliers like Frieren, finding a fantasy world that feels genuinely magical has become a bit hard to do nowadays. That was until we saw this show barging in. And in came Witch Hat Atelier. Beginning in 2016 as a manga series written and illustrated by Kamome Shirohama, Witch Hat Atelier has over 7.5 million copies in circulation as of today. It also won a Harvey Award, an Eisner Award in 2020 and 2025. Before it reached anime status, the show was already bound for success, and success it became. The show begins with a sense of innocence and childlike wonder. Being amazed by the simple things in life and having a longing desire to achieve your dreams, which makes this in a way very similar to Made in Abyss, which is also another creative masterpiece. Again, starting with that innocence, but as you venture deeper, you start to learn and experience things. We're gradually given hints about the darker side of magic in this world. The interesting use of magic as drawings is a breather to wands and spells that we usually see in not just anime, but a lot of other media formats as well. Witch Hat Atelier has casted a spell over its viewers and the community. With the first episode rating coming out at a whopping 9.1, the show continued on that course, receiving solid 8s and back up to 9 through episode 5. So it is safe to say that this show is no fluke. It's genuinely a great anime with a track record to prove it. And part of what makes this show so magical is the art style and animation. The first thing that sucks you into this world within the first 10 minutes is the visual presentation. The animation goes way beyond expectations. It doesn't just animate the manga, it breathes life into it. The visual style ties directly into its brilliant magic system. We're so used to characters just shouting spell names and waving magic wands to cast a spell. Here, magic is art. It's drawn with ink and paper. It helps breathe a breath of fresh air into the medium and shows us there are still creative and original ways to portray magic. Originality and creativity doesn't just stop at magic though. It bridges into the entire show, from sound design, art style, and finally to its characters. Each character isn't only visually creative, but each one pulls you in with their personality and sense of mystery. So let's just get into who these people are. Coco is our main squeeze, an innocent, curious, and awestruck child. She's been infatuated with magic since she was a toddler, her first experience being with her mother while walking. The stones beneath her feet began to light up with each step, and each step she took, her love for this new, fascinating medium called magic grew. Coco, being a normal, everyday human, can't use magic. No matter how strong her love for it became, it just wouldn't happen. One of the things interesting about this series is who can use magic. That is until she had a fateful meeting with a mysterious hooded person in the city. This mysterious, very ominous looking person gives Coco a book containing weird drawings, a pen, and a bottle of ink. This plants the seed in Coco to continue trying to learn magic despite being told she could never do it. One day, a witch shows up to her house, Kifri, who is in the process of helping some stranded visitors. One rule that must be followed by witches is they cannot show how they cast their spells. Coco's curiosity got the best of her, and she saw how magic is supposed to be cast. Later that night in her room, she managed to cast spells. Some fun and one rather terrifying spell that ended up turning her mom and house into ice. Her feelings towards magic transformed from love and admiration to urgency and desire to fix her wrongdoings, even though it was an accident. She's taken on as an apprentice by Kifri, and her long-desired journey to become a witch finally begins. Of course, Coco doesn't just have Kifri to help guide her. He's also the teacher for 3 other students. Riche, who is seemingly emotionless, quiet, and stubborn, yet cares for her fellow apprentices. Tetia, the upbeat bubble of joy at the atelier, who keeps everyone grounded and stable. She has her quirks, like thanking people for saying thank you to her, but she's a great friend to Coco. And finally, we have Agathe, who's cold and almost bullies Coco in a way. She has a grudge against Coco because she was never supposed to be learning magic and is naive to how it actually works. Though Agathe comes off as rude and mean, Coco seems to grow on her a bit. Nonetheless, Coco is surrounded by a great group of witches who are there to nurture her and help her grow as a witch. Coco knows she has a lot to learn compared to her peers and works tirelessly to keep up with everyone else. Her desire to save her mother drives her to learn at an accelerated pace. Also, her ties to the Brim Hats makes her a target of interest to a very special witch, Kefri. Kefri appears as a nice, humble, and patient teacher. He cares about his apprentices, but isn't afraid to teeter on the edge of the rules of magic, which are very, very strict. He takes a peculiar interest in Coco due to her connection with the Brim Hats and dark magic. Kefri is protective of his students and takes great care in their blossoming careers as witches. His teaching style is gentle, but he's willing to give his students the extra push they need when they hit a rut. As the story progresses, we almost see small cracks forming in Kefri's personality. He doesn't give off underhanded vibes, but we can clearly see he's bothered by something, and we see this in some of the first interactions with Coco. It's clear she isn't the reason he's upset, but he certainly sees her as a path to getting something from the Brim-Capped Witches. Speaking of the Brim-Capped Witches, they are an interesting bunch. Not much information is known on them yet. They seem to have a particular interest in Coco, even since she was a small child. They use dark magic used for chaos, war, and evil. The Brim-Capped Witches seem to have very little value for life overall. They have no trouble giving children extremely strong magical tools, sending them to a dimension with a giant dragon, or causing entire rivers to turn to sand, altering the landscape and causing unknown amounts of harm to the surrounding environment. They even go beyond just drawing spells and literally tattoo the ink into their skin. The Brimcaps represent that rebellion and delinquency in people. In a way, I can kind of see where they're coming from. In episode 7, Who is Magic For?, we finally get to meet the Keepers of Magic, the Knights Morales. The Knights Morales is an elite group of witches whose job is to basically police those who use magic and make sure that absolutely no one other than authorized witches are to use magic. Under no circumstances are non-witches allowed to use magic. If they do and are caught, they are to have any sort of ideas revolving around magic erased from their memories. Earlier we had mentioned how Coco couldn't use magic because she's not a witch. Well, that's not true. As it turns out, all people are capable of using magic. However, the use of magic by non-witches is heavily policed. But it wasn't always that way. Due to horrible events in the past, non-witches were forbidden to use magic or even know how it is used. The Knights Morales are a strict bunch of witches, and at least from what we have seen in the show, do not take kindly to any sort of rule breakers. Given all the strict rules regarding witches and magic usage, it's not very hard to see how a group of these people could form to want to break those rules. I personally think the Brimmed Caps have a point. How cool would it be to use body modification magic or spells that can help shape or alter landscapes? To the same degree, I can see how those types of magic, in the wrong hands, can cause a massive amount of chaos. Knowing all the things magic is capable of, good and bad, it begs the question, if magic can help heal the world, is it right to hide it from the public, knowing that it can destroy it too? We can see what happens when magic goes unchecked or is in the hands of someone inexperienced or doesn't know how it works. Coco is the perfect example. You can love magic with all your heart, but without the proper training, it's easy to let it get away from you and cause something you never meant to happen. We also see what can happen when magic goes unchecked in the hands of someone who knows exactly what they're doing. That's another thing that separates Hat Atelier from normal fantasy animes we see today. On top of its amazing animation and creative visuals, it also brings important philosophical questions to the table. Keeping such powerful tools in the hands of a few selected individuals can be just as bad as everyone having the same power. It goes without saying that power can certainly corrupt when in the wrong hands. Both of us are very big UAP and UFO guys. We can kind of relate to the message with what we're seeing in UAP disclosure today. Does the government, aka Knights Morales, have the right to keep such important information from the public? Or do they fear the public using that information in a negative way? I find it really interesting how a show regarding magic and witches can carry such an important philosophical idea or philosophy, at least how we interpret it. The battle for ideologies isn't just happening in the background, it's also playing out with the characters we've come to love. Coco is caught right in the crossfire. A girl who only wants to bring beauty and a love for magic into the world, now unknowingly carrying the weight of a forbidden secret. Keyfree is walking a dangerous tightrope, pretending to enforce the laws of the Knights Moralis while secretly using Coco as leverage to hunt the brimmed caps. Even the other apprentices represent different ways of coping with a rigid, heavily policed society. At the end of the day, Witch Hat Atelier is the wake-up call that the fantasy genre of anime needed. In a landscape overcrowded with status screens and predictable, overpowered main characters, it shows us what made fantasy captivating in the first place. A genuine sense of wonder and originality, paired with the terrifying reality of what happens when that very thing we love and admire most is corrupted. It reminds us that magic isn't just a tool to level up or fight villains. Magic is art. It's expression. It's a force capable of reshaping landscapes, erasing memories, or even saving a mother. In an anime season full of great shows, Witch Hat Atelier certainly doesn't fall short to anything else. I really do have high hopes that this show will become a fantasy show that is looked upon with great admiration and can be enjoyed for many, many years to come. When your worldview is shattered, you have two options. Two paths of which you can walk. Option 1. You admit defeat and succumb to this mind-bending realization that everything you thought you knew is no more. Then there's option 2. Realizing the thing that you thought about almost every minute of every day is within reach. When your whole life you were told that it was impossible, it is at this point you ask yourself, what does this mean? What do I have left to say? What do I do now? If you guys made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of Witch Hat Atelier, your opinions on it, characters, Keyfree, the brimmed hats. Let us know it all. We'd love to hear it. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can continue getting anime content like this. And we will see you guys in the next episode.